There are moments when the silence in your phone feels louder than anything else. When you open your messages and see an empty screen. Not because someone's angry, but simply because there's no one to write to. When weekends become something you'd rather sleep through, just so you don't have to feel the weight of having no one to share them with. And then, quietly, a painful thought appears. Maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I'm just not enough. But the truth is, loneliness is not a verdict, and it's not a flaw. It's a part of the human experience. Sometimes it's the space where we finally come back to ourselves. The problem isn't that there are no people around. It's that we don't know how to be with ourselves without feeling empty. Because we were taught that our worth is confirmed through connection. And when there's no connection, it feels like the confirmation of our worth disappears too. To stop losing your mind from loneliness, you first have to stop treating it like an enemy. The paradox is that the more you try to run from loneliness, the faster it catches up. The louder you search for people just to avoid hearing your own thoughts, the deeper the emptiness feels. But the moment you stop running, the emptiness turns into quiet. And quiet isn't your enemy. It heals. It's in that silence where you finally hear what's been drowned out by noise. Your real thoughts, your real desires, your real self. You can't build real friendship if you're not a friend to yourself first. Because relationships aren't a way to escape loneliness, they're a mature continuation of it. When a person is whole within themselves, their connections stop being a way to fill a void and become a natural exchange. And to reach that state, you have to stop seeing loneliness as a pause before real life. Sometimes, this is real life, the most honest, the most meaningful part of it, because no one is distracting you from being truly you. Today's world creates the illusion that everyone has their people, their perfect group, their tribe, and if you're alone, it means you've failed. But loneliness is not the absence of company. It's the absence of connection with yourself. You can be surrounded by people and still feel empty. And you can be alone and feel at peace. The fact that you have no friends right now doesn't mean it'll always be that way. It's not the end, it's a transition. A space where you can grow, if you don't fill it with panic. So what should you do if you have no friends? First, stop treating it like a tragedy. You're not broken. You're just in a process of renewal. Sometimes life takes people away to make room for new ones, deeper, more aligned ones. If your world feels empty, it's a sign that it's time for inner cleaning, to clear your mind, refresh your views, and rediscover who you are now. Because often, we hold on to old friendships not because they're alive, but because we're afraid of being without them. But emptiness isn't an enemy, it's preparation for new fullness. Second, stop searching for friends out of fear of being alone. That fear creates shallow connections that burn out faster than they begin. Look not for people who will fill your silence, but for those who can share your calm. You don't have to hunt for them. When you stop trying to prove your worth, you start radiating peace. And peace is magnetic. People are drawn to those who don't demand, who simply are. Because being around someone who doesn't need to impress you is rare and deeply comforting. Third, do what makes you feel alive. Not to be productive, not to find people, but simply because it lights you up. Someone writes, someone paints, someone walks alone, someone sits in a cafe and watches the world go by. Real friendships grow from genuine interest, from the things that truly matter to you. When you start living your own life, instead of waiting for someone to come and complete it, people start appearing naturally, those who are on the same wavelength, who feel the same way. You stop searching, and you simply live, and they find you along the way. Fourth, stop believing that everyone already has their circle. There's no such thing as too late. People find real friends at 15, at 30, at 60. The key is to stay open. The world is full of people who are also looking for real connection. They just don't shout about it. And when you stop hiding behind "I'm fine," someone might finally see themselves in you. Closeness always begins with honesty, not perfection. Fifth, replace self-pity with self-care. Pity makes loneliness painful, but care makes it gentle. When you feel low, don't rush to cheer up. Just be with yourself, the way you would be with a friend, with understanding, without judgment, with kindness. Don't try to be strong, try to be real. Allow yourself not to know, not to do, not to keep up. Sometimes real strength is born from softness, quiet, grounded, steady strength that doesn't need to prove itself. Sixth, stop comparing. On social media, friendship looks like an endless celebration. But life isn't made of group photos. Friendship isn't about the number of people around you, but the quality of at least one person with whom you can be honest. And if that person hasn't appeared yet, you can become that person for yourself. To listen, to support, to accept. That's where it all begins. And finally, remember, loneliness isn't forever, as long as you stop being afraid of it. Fear makes it heavy. Acceptance makes it healing. In loneliness, ideas are born. Awareness is born. Maturity grows. And one morning, you'll wake up and realize, you're not that alone anymore. Because beside you stands yourself. And that's the beginning of any real friendship. Maybe, at that moment, someone new will enter your life. Not to save you from loneliness, but to share your presence. Not because you need them, but because you're ready. Because inside you, there's no more fear. There's peace. And from peace, connection is born, the kind you never have to chase.